Hello, you are most welcome. Yeah, it's Henry, the computer guy, and in today's video, we are going to be working out UNEB subsidiary ICT 2014. But our main focus is going to be on paper 2, and specifically, we are going to be working on Microsoft Excel. So, what we are going to be doing first is to create a folder that is going to be holding our content. And how are we going to do that? We are going to be locating any free space onto our desktop, right click onto our mouse, come to the option that says new, then we select our folder. And having selected our folder, of course, we have to give it a name. Of course, I'm going to be giving it a UNEB 2014, and specifically this is going to be paper 2. So you can as well be able to drag this folder to any location of your choice, even in another folder. So finally, this is our folder. And having created our folder, of course, we have to look through the question we are going to be following throughout the video. And I've already designed the question. So let me open it and you look at it. So this is the question we are going to be following. It is UNEB 2014, paper 2, Microsoft Excel. So the question is telling us that open an appropriate spreadsheet software and enter the data shown in the table below. Save it as your name and personal number. So you can as well save it as your name and personal number. For me, I'm going to be using Henry001, for example. So this is the information we are going to be entering into our file. Then later, we're going to be following this question to make the changes. So let me first of all create that file before we do anything else. Let me minimize my question, then come and look for Microsoft Excel. I'm going to be coming onto my search option here. Then I'm going to be typing Excel. And having typed Excel, I told you can use any version of your choice. But let me open this, which is 2010. And having opened my software, this is how it is displayed. We have the tabs, we have the different columns and rows. We have the cells. Of course, a cell is simply an intersection of a column and a row. We have the different options we are going to be working with on the different tabs here. So what we are going to do first is to save this file. And how are we going to do that? You're going to come to the option that says file. Having clicked on file, you're going to look for the option that says save. So after clicking on save, of course, we are going to be looking for the location where we are going to be saving our file. And remember, we created our folder onto the desktop. So we are going to be selecting our desktop. And having selected the desktop, of course, we have our folder just right here. Let me select it and click on the option that says open. And having clicked on open, of course, we have to give that file a name. So we are going to be coming to the option that is called file name. Then we rub whichever thing that is there. Then we put our name and personal number because the question wants us to save it as our name and personal number. Let me call it Henry 001. So after that, you have to clarify whether you're in that folder you want. Then later, click on the option that says save. And having saved our file, of course, the name is going to appear at the top here. So now we are good to go. So what I'm going to do now is to make this a little bit small, and I will also open the question such that we can see both of them, such that we can enter our data very fast. So we have the first one, which is going to be the serial number. Then we have the name. We also have the sex. We are having the history. Then we have the CRA. We put in econ. Then we put in jog. Finally, we can also increase the size if they are not all that visible. For example, I can come to the font here. Then I change it to Times New Roman. Then I also change the size to let's say 12 for them to be visible. That is it we have now. So let me put the serial number. Of course, we have 1, we have 2. Then after typing those two values, I can select them, then command just drag the fail handle for me to be able to get all these other values. Even if it is over 100, you can just drag, they will give you those numbers. So I'm going to drag this one to 3, 4, 5, then 6. That is it. And when you look at the question here, they are aligned to the left-hand side. So I'm going to align them to the left also. That is it. I can even make it a little bit smaller, just like that. So let's type in the names. Of course, we have Annette, we have Amel, We have Samila. Then we have number 4, we have Shukli. Then we have Logose. Then we have finally Opio. So that is it for now. But now you're seeing that we have highest score and lowest score, but this space is very small. So we are going to be enlarging it a little bit, come in between B and C, drag to the right. Then let me put highest score. Then we have the lowest score. Then we make them bold because here they are bold. So just come and make them bold. Even this one is bold. Then we come and put in the gender. Of course, we have F, we have M, we have F, F, F. Then finally, we have M. Then we put in the different marks. We have 90, we have 79, we have 87, we have 76, we have 45, we have 76. We come to CRE, we have 54, we have 53, we have 65, we have 57, we have 66, then we have 44. Then we have Econ 78, we have 70, we have 69, we have 82, we have 82, we have 55, we have 76. You have to be very careful so that you don't make a mistake. We have 50, we have 89, we have 45, again 45, we have 76, then finally we have 80, 87. So here we have the total. For example, when you scroll a little bit here, we have the total, then we have the average. I'm going to be putting the total, TOT, then average, AVE. So now we can make them a little bit bigger. Then we can also make the question a little bit bigger. So that is what we have for now. So we're going to be putting the borders the way they are here. First of all, let me select my work, then come and put the borders by coming to the option that says borders, then command say all borders. We can even zoom a little so that we can be able to see whatever we are doing. That is what we have for now. That means that in the total column, calculate the total score for each student. Then in the AVE column, calculate the average score for each student. Let's first do those two. Of course, they want the total here. Of course, whenever you want to write any formula or any function, it begins with an equal sign. And I'll type my equal sign. I'm going to be getting the total of this. Of course, I'll use the function called sum. Having typed sum, I'm going to be double clicking on it, then come and select the range from where I want to begin adding up to where I want to stop. It is from D to G. So I'm going to be selecting from 90 up to 50 where we have geography. So after that, I'll close my bracket, then press enter. Having pressed enter, I'm going to be using the fill handle to drag to the rest of the cells because we have to do this very fast. So I'll just come and drag this to the rest of the cells. That is it. So we calculate the average. Of course, it is going to be an equal sign, then average again, select it from the range, then come and say from 90 again up to geography. Don't include in the total. It is not inclusive. Come and say enter. Then you also use the fill handle to drag to the rest of the cells. You can will make it a little bit smaller like that. So now the next question is telling us that we are going to be in the highest score row, calculate the highest score subject, total score, and the average score. Then we also do that for the lowest score. Let's come back to our work. Into the column for the history, we are going to be coming here. Then we find the highest score. Then we also find the lowest score. Let's begin with the highest score. So whenever you want to get the highest score or value in a range, we use a function called max. So it is going to be equals I type max. And having typed max, of course, I'm going to be double clicking on it. Then I select the range from 90 to 76. Then I'll press enter. After that, I'll use the fill handle to fill the rest of the cells because they said up to these two we have just calculated right now. Then we also come and get the lowest. Of course, it is opposite of max, which is going to be min, which is the mean, equals min. Double click on it, come and select the range from 90 again to 76. Then press enter, then come and use the fill handle to drag to the rest of the cells. And finally, we are done with all they wanted. Let's read the question again and see. So the question is telling us that create a suitable title for the table in spreadsheet. So we need a title, and remember the title is always supposed to be at the top. But when you look at the top here, we don't have any space where we can write our title. So we have to include one. By coming to this row, which is the first row, right click, come and say insert. When you insert, of course, it is going to be putting for us an empty row above our table. So now what we are going to do is to merge up to where our work is. So I'm going to be selecting them, then I merge them. Remember, they're different cells, so we have to write our title in only one cell. So we have to merge them to become one. So after that, I'll come and do this. So after that, I'll type my heading. For example, I can type, let's say, students performance. You can also use your own. I can even select it and make it bold. I can increase the size, for example, to 12. I can even change it to Times New Roman, like that. I can even give it the color of my choice. That is what we have. But it's not having that border, so I'm going to select again. And having selected again, I'm going to come to my borders. Then I select all borders. So finally, our work is all having the borders. Let's go back to our question and see what we are supposed to do now. So they're telling us that introduce a grade column after every subject and use the VLOOKUP function to assign a correct grade for each subject to the table below. So this is the table we are going to be following as we use our VLOOKUP function. But remember, VLOOKUP works with a table. So we need to make that table into our work. So by coming, let's say we can choose any location of our choice, then we can put that table there. So before we do that, we first have to include the grade column every after each subject. Remember, they have told us every after each subject. If they are very big, we can even make this a little bit smaller. We can make this a little bit smaller, just like this, just like this, just like this. So we are now going to be including the grade column every after each subject. So for us to include the grade column after history, we are going to be selecting the column after history. And that column is specifically CRE. So I'm going to come to this section. I'll come and right click, then come and say insert. Of course, when I insert, of course, it will put for me an empty column in between CRE and history. So I'm going to be giving this one grade. Just like that. It is very small. We can enlarge it a little, just like that. Then after CRE, I'm going to be selecting icon, right click, come and say insert. And after we put the grade there also, then we can enlarge this for it to be visible, just like this. Then after icon, we select geography. Then we come and say insert. We make it a little bit smaller or bigger, depending on the size that is there. Come and include the grade column. Then after geography, we are selecting the total column. Come and say insert. Then we are going to be enlarging this a little bit. We put our grade also. So I think we have included the grade for history, the grade for CRE, the grade for econ, and grade for geography. So what we want to do now is to come and put our table, then follow this to work our VLOOKUP out. So what do we have? We have the marks and the grade. Let me put that one into my work. Remember, VLOOKUP works with a table, so we need to include that table into our work. By coming to any option that we have, for example, I can come here and put marks. Then after I'll put this one, let me make it a little bit bigger. Here, I'll put the grade, the way we have it here. So when we look at the question, we have these grades and we have these marks. So let's put them also. We have for the grade, we have F9, we have pass 8, we have pass 7, we have credit 6, we have credit 5, we have credit 4, we have credit 3, we have a D2, then we have a D1. So we are going to also put in the max from 0 to 34, like that. So from 35 to 39. Let's include in that. So we come here, we write our 0. Then remember, this question is having 0 to 34. And whenever you're going to be using VLOOKUP, remember to arrange your values in ascending order. So I'm going to be arranging from 0 going up. So for example, this is from 0 to 34. Then I'll include the 35 here. Then I'll have another one, which is 40, 45, 40, then down 45. Then another one is going to be 50, 55, 50, 55. Then we have 60. Let me see. We have 60, 70, 60, 70, then 70, 75. So those are the values we have. Let's make this one in form of a table, the way it is, by including the borders there. Now, remember in our question, we want to format this information the way it is. When you come and see here, we have 0, 0 to, let's say, 34. We want to do that. When we come back to our work, when I come and add, let's say, the hyphen, then I add in what is 34. You see, this one changes to something called text, because numbers are always aligned to the right hand side and text is aligned to the left hand side. So this one becomes text, this is a number. We want to come up with a way of making this a number, then we format it to look the same way it is here. And we are going to be using what we call number formatting. Let me wrap this one up, put here. So I need to put a 0 here. 0 to something. Let's say 35 to something else. So we have to do this under number formatting. And how are we going to do that? We are going to be coming down here. We select that cell, right click, come to the option that says format cells. And having clicked on format cells, of course, give it some time. It will open. Then we have that general number. We come to the option that says custom. And under the custom, we are going to be selecting this 0 that is representing anything that we have put to the side, whether 0, whether 9, whether 10, whether 100, and all other figures. So we have to format it into this similar way, 0, 0 to 34. That's what we want to come up with. What I'm going to do is to select this 0. Then in the option that says type is where I want to format my items the way they are. So I'm going to be adding another 0 to make them 2 zeros. Remember, the question has 2 zeros here, then 234. I'll have to add that. When I come down here, I'll have to open my quotations, then put my hyphen, and I put 30, 34. Then I'll close my quotations. You see here, this is how it will look like. When I say OK, it comes as that. But when you click into this section and come back here, it remains as 0. We have just formatted it under number formatting to look the way the question wants it to be. So I'm going to be doing this for the rest of the other values. Let's continue and see how easy it becomes. So this is from 35 to 39. We already have the 35 there, so we are just going to be putting 39. Right click, come to formatting of the cells, come and put this one aside, come and say custom. Under custom, you select the 0, then here you come and open your quotations, you put the hyphen, then you put 39. Then you close the quotations. Of course, it will show you how the sample looks like here. You come and say, okay, very simple, we do this. So this is from 40 to 44. 40 to 44, right click, come and say format cells. Then after, come and say, put this one a little bit aside, custom, come and say 0, then open your quotations from the type, put your hyphen, then to 40, 44, close the quotation. Just like that, then you come and say it is 40 to 44. We do that. This is 45 to 49. Right click, format cells. Put this one aside. Custom, come and say 0, select that 0, you open your quotations, put your hyphen. So this is going to be to 49. To 49, close the quotations, just like that. You see, it is now changing to whatever we have in the question here. 45 to 49. This is 50 to 54. 50 to 54. Right click, format cells. 50 to 54. 50 to 54. So now I can be fast because you know what I'm doing. 50 to 54. 54, close the quotations. Come and say okay. Then we can look at what we have. 55 to 59. 55 to 59. Right click, come and say format cells. So we are putting a 59. 59 custom. 59, come and say open the quotations. Put hyphen 59. Then come and close the quotations. 59. Then come and say okay. So then 60 to 69. 60 to 69 format cells. Put this one aside. Custom, come and say 0, then 69. Open your quotations, hyphen, then 69. Then close the quotations. Come and say okay. Then you come and say 70. What does it indicate? 70 to 74. 70 to 74. 70 to 74. Custom again. The 0. Put the quotations. Then you say to 70, 74. Come and close the quotations. Then come and say this. Then lastly, we have up to 100. So come and select this one, right click, come and say format cells. You put this one aside again, custom, then come and say this and come and open your quotations, put 2, then 100. You close the quotes just like that. So it will look 75 to 100. After that, you say okay, and that is what we have. So we have formatted our table the way we want. We can even decide to align this to the right if we want to separate them just like that. So now, remember the question was telling us to use VLOOKUP to grade those people. So we are going to be doing that right away, depending on the table that we have. So let's come back here. We come to history, so we give it a grade. So we are going to be typing our function, which is going to be equals VLOOKUP. And when we open our VLOOKUP, it tells us that we have what we call the lookup value. And the lookup value is what you're basing on. And I'm basing on history. That is my max for 90. So I'll command put a comma. Then the table array. This is the table that we have designed. Remember I told you VLOOKUP works with a table. I'm going to be selecting my table, but I'm not going to be including the headings. So I'll start from here, then scroll up to 100, just here. But remember, the table has to be absolute. So I'm going to be pressing function 4 to make it absolute, just like that. Non-changing, comma, then column index number. Of course, we want to get this information from this table, but which column is it? So it is in the second column. So I'll be typing a 2, then comma. Of course, this is going to be an approximate match. I'll type true, then close my bracket and press enter. Of course, they have given us 90 has a D1. When you come here, of course, 90 begins from a D1, just from 75, 90 falls under D1. We're going to be using the fill handle to select all the others, just like that, up to or PO. So we are not including these other values because this one was for highest and the lowest. So let me do that for CRE very fast, equals VLOOKUP. Then lookup value is this for CRE, comma, the table array. I'm selecting my table just up to where the 100 is, but make it absolute by pressing function 4 onto your keyboard. Then the column index number, of course, it is in the second column. I'll put a 2. Then approximate match, I'll put a true. Double click on it, press enter. Just do that for the rest of the other cells by using the fill handle up to here. Then we do this very fast, equals VLOOKUP. Open. Of course, I'm going to be having the lookup value, that is the value which is in a con, the table array. I'll select my table again, up to again here. Then we make it absolute by pressing function 4 to make it non-changing, comma. Of course, the column index number is 2 again, then comma. Of course, I'm using approximate match, true, then enter. You drag to the rest of the other cells up here. Lastly, we do the grade for geography equals VLOOKUP. It is very easy to work with VLOOKUP. The lookup value is 50, comma. Then the table array, I'm selecting my table that I've just done. Then make it absolute by pressing function 4, non-changing, comma. The column index number, of course, it is in column 2. I want to get these ones to this section. Of course, they are in the second column, column 1, column 2. Then, of course, it is going to be an approximate match. Then I'll select that true. Then press enter. We drag to the rest of the other cells up to here. So that is it. We have also graded these subjects the way the question wanted us to do. So we can make this a little bit smaller so that we can be able to see the whole of the information that we have done. So we have history, we have given it a grade. CRE, we have given it a grade. Let's look at the question and see what they are telling us to do. Of course, they are telling us to save and print our work. So lastly, we can go back to our work and click on our save. Of course, you have to keep on saving. It has to be a constant task because remember, when power goes off, you'll be losing your work. So you have to keep on saving your work. Now, we want to print this work, but before printing, we have to look at how it looks like. For example, when I come to my file, I'll come and click on the option that says print. And having clicked on print, of course, this is how it looks like. You're seeing that some information is not visible. So that means that we have to, for example, make it a little bit smaller so that it can be able to fit onto one page. This is what will come out of the printer, but some information is not visible. Let's go back and make it a little bit smaller. So it has to be on one page. How can we work upon this? I can decide to reduce the size of the columns. For example, let me try this and see. When we try this, of course, this one, we can also try this just like this. No, the grade is going to be out just like that. We can decide to make this one. Okay, it's fine. This is also fine. So we can also be able to change the layout of the page such that it can be with a wider space. For example, by coming to the page layout, then come to the option that says orientation and choose landscape. So when you choose landscape, of course, this information is going to be fitting on one page because we want to print it as the whole of it. So let's go back to our file and click on the option that says print. And having clicked on the option that says print, of course, all our information is now visible because we have changed the orientation of the page, which was portrait to landscape. So now what we are going to be doing is to print our work. How do we do that? You come and select the number of copies you want. For example, if you want 1 copy, 2 copies, then you can select the type of printer you're going to work with. You can't be having a lot of printers on your computer installed, so you have to choose the one you want to work with. You can also be able to print all the pages. You can save the pages, retype them here in ranges, print one-sided or double-sided, collated. You can also choose the orientation again from here. You can choose the type of page you're going to work with, and so many other options you can work with. So for my case, I'm not going to print. I'm going to be ending here. So let me just go back, and that is what the question required us to do.